Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0-Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Ooh, welcome back to the 3-0-Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 390. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate, hey. We'll get into the baseball here real quick. Because I know, 1 week left, lot at stake here. But before we get into that, and I don't know how you would have heard this because nobody was talking about it. Did you see that Taylor Swift was at a Chiefs game yesterday?
I did not. I've been scrolling through all different types of social media, and I haven't seen a single thing about it.
It's kind of bizarre, somebody
thing.
of her celebrity status. You would have thought that it would have been talked about just a tad more,
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Just
Very
flying under
strange.
the radar.
Very strange.
Who'd have thunk?
Very strange.
Unbelievable.
Taylor Swift.
Unbelievable.
Travis Kelce. If there was a major league player, if they were to link up with Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
who do you think it would be to make equal or greater waves in the sports and pop culture world?
It would have to be Aaron Judge, I think. But I think he's married. So do we have to find a single?
No, just
Of that caliber, you mean?
pretend like we don't remember who's married and who's not in the baseball world and just go based off that.
Mike Trout's
Well,
too
we
boring.
know Aaron Judge is married now, so that's we've spoiled that one.
Yeah.
Who else could we go with?
Mookie wouldn't work, right?
I already know that Mookie's married.
Yeah. Tatis, maybe? Because Tatis is kind of like, they're both like just all about show. All about the flash.
Yeah, I mean, this would be the most bizarre couple in, well, I can't know. There have been some bizarre celebrity couples. I can't even say that. But one of the more bizarre celebrity couples will be Taylor Swift and Ronald Acuña Jr. But now that I'm saying that, he just got married within the last 6 months. I can't think of.
Who's the what's that Disney chick that's married
Vanessa
to Cole
Hudgens.
Tucker? Yeah.
Vanessa Hudgens. I was literally just about to say. I mean, baseball has a strange history of some less than.
I mean, you
talented.
have Kate Upton and Justin Verlander that are
that's a
up
strong
there
one.
as far as stardom.
That's a strong one.
It's it's hard to compare. Taylor Swift is they were saying, I say they because it's freaking everywhere, but somebody was saying that it was she's the most popular person on the planet right now.
Without a doubt, yeah.
More above the other person was what about Obama or Oprah? And I'm I think she's more popular than them now. I think she's reached that point.
I hear about Taylor Swift at least 27 times a day. I hear about Oprah maybe once every other month.
Yeah.
If that.
I will say it's impressive because I like the New Heights podcast with the Kelce brothers. They do a good job, and honestly, Jason Kelce is I think he's hilarious. Travis Kelce's I don't know, he's cool, but Jason Kelce's definitely cooler. But anyway, he's been working for this. He's been working for it. He said he gave her wanted to give her a bracelet with his phone number or something a couple months ago, and it's just been slowly him just putting things out there publicly, and somehow pulled this off. I mean, it's impressive.
I'm trying to think of what having Taylor Swift at a postseason game would do for baseball. So now I've kind of narrowed my scope in terms of people that maybe we could get her with. Like, forget this
Only
Kelsey
contenders.
business. Only contenders. Like,
What about like a Corey Seager or something? Just filling up.
I'm surprised at how
Arlington.
many players I know that are married. Like, I know he's married.
Yeah.
Contenders.
Nathaniel Lowe has a mustache. You know? If
Not
we're just
bad.
going off of that.
Not a bad. Maybe that's her thing. Maybe that's her thing. Well, yeah. All that to say, we need to ditch this Kelsey situation and get Swifty to October baseball. Not because I care, not that I necessarily want her there,
care.
but just more eyeballs. Because I don't know if you saw, but like all of these self-proclaimed Swifties that don't understand football, there's like a mass movement now to educate Swifties on how football works, so that as they like get their constant Taylor Swift propaganda, their
That's
steady
true.
stream, they can understand football because she's presumably going to be a part of it for the
Football doesn't need more fans, though.
foreseeable future.
Oh, one of them's going to mess this up. She makes too much money off of breakup albums. There's no way this is going to
She's already writing her next breakup album.
So what rhymes with mustache?
Maybe she'll make her way over to Major League Baseball sometime soon. Anyway, what are you buying today? What are you selling?
I am buying Clayton Kershaw, and you're like, whoa, that's such a easy buy because he's a Hall of Famer. No, that's not what I'm buying. Last night, Sunday Night Baseball, got the interviews rolling. I don't know if you saw, there's this little bunt play up the line. Lance Lynn hustling up the line, makes the bunt catch in the air, little bloop bunt. And Carl Ravitch goes, whoa, see, pitchers are athletes. And Clayton Kershaw goes, I wouldn't say that. Let's go. Finally, we have a pitcher that admits that pitchers are not athletes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that's not coming from the mouth of some scrub.
No, that's
Okay.
coming from a freaking goat. So, credible source. It's about time. We've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I've never heard a pitcher say this before, so I'm very happy about it.
I'm glad you're starting this week off with a buy. I am
It's
not.
rare, right?
I am selling. And what am I selling, you ask? I am selling non-contending teams being talked about at this point in the season. And I'm not talking, and I say that, and I know a lot of people are going, well, on this very podcast, you've talked about Team X or Team Y, and they've been out of the race for a week. That's not what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the Yankees necessarily, who were mathematically eliminated this weekend. I'm not even talking about like the Red Sox or Padres or a team like that, who like kind of were floating around there for a while. I'm talking about teams that have been out of the picture for weeks, even months. Like, I'm seeing articles pop up on a variety of websites that I just peruse from time to time just to get some notes and info. And I'm seeing articles being written about off-season outlook for the Rockies, or here's what the White Sox need to do to return to action. I don't care. And I guarantee you fans of those teams don't care either, because most likely this season has just been hell for those fans. And the second that they were out of the picture, they probably jumped ship, and they're already looking for it, or now they're fully immersed in football, or if that's not their thing, they're looking ahead to basketball or rugby or badminton or cornhole, whatever they're into.
What's wild is that the two cities you just selected, though, if you're a White Sox fan and you're a Bears fan,
And you're a Bears fan,
like,
or
we might need to check on those people, and or Rockies/Broncos fans.
Yeah. So maybe football is not the best example there, but you get my point. They don't care, like, who's reading these articles. And Well, it is kind of a knock on the people that write the articles because have a little more awareness. Why are we writing articles about that? And for people that say, well, I don't have a team in the race, like I want to read about some other teams. We literally wait all year for the postseason. So like, even if your team's not in it, okay, it sucks, but like, don't then channel some sort of hatred for the coverage, dare I say, excessive coverage that the teams that are still in the picture are getting, because they're the ones that are still in the picture and they're the ones deserving of the coverage.
Right.
So like, I don't need to read these articles about the White Sox and Rockies. So enough with that. Enough with that. I don't need it. You don't need it. The people listening to this don't need it. Is this the last? No. Next week, we'll have one last weekend series recap.
Yeah.
Correct? Because season ends Sunday.
Yeah.
The last one. I may or may not even do it because at that point,
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters. Nobody cares.
So this could be the last.
Nobody cares about how the Angels rounded out the season. Nobody cares. But with that said, we're gonna do it today. Could be the last one. I don't know. Time will tell. Blue Jays over the Rays. Didn't add a note to that for some reason. I don't know why. I skipped right to the next series as I was pulling my notes together. So
slugfest yesterday though, just balls getting launched. Blue Jays look like they're kind of waking up.
There have been a couple teams as of late, which we'll get into, that have seemingly woken up a little bit. The D-backs over the Yankees. Saturday had a rain out, so they're going to finish their series today. They may even be getting ready.
10 minutes, I think, yeah.
Yeah, getting ready for game 3 of that series. Yankees, as I mentioned, were eliminated from postseason contention over the weekend. So, any last words, Nate? Or you know what? Let's look ahead. Let's have a little bit of a moment of positivity. Do you have any words of encouragement heading into the offseason for maybe other Yankees fans, or just vibes you want to get out there for the Yankees organization?
Judge's comments yesterday got me excited to the fact that, and I know he's checking all the boxes of like the prototypical, it's a failure, blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, we get that quote all the time, but it's him being involved in potential changes and being involved in some decisions and like having his say. And the last captain being Jeter, it's like he never really said stuff like that. It was always like, I do my job, they do theirs. To be fair, he had a much more successful front office, so it's a little bit of a difference there. But like, I just liked that Judge was like, yeah, I got some ideas and we're gonna get to work. So that part to me sounds exciting, but like I feel like all of us are pretty numb to this point. There's just I'm not going to be surprised if nothing changes and everything's just copy and paste for next year.
Has anybody checked on Aaron Boone? Have they turned the off switch on him, or is he still telling reporters that it's right in front of them?
Yeah.
That the postseason chances are right in front of them.
I just saw one that comes back like 18 minutes ago. It says Yankee manager says he hasn't been told if he's coming back next year.
Has he been told that they've been eliminated? That's ultimately what I need to know right now.
Still right in front of us. He's still going to get tossed today.
Still right in front. Try to fire up the boys for a late postseason run, even though they're mathematically eliminated. Love that. Where are we at here? Braves take 3 of 4 from the Nationals. Ronald Acuña Jr. reaches 40 home runs over the weekend. And for those wondering, they go, Kyle, why didn't you put out a post to mark the entering of the 40-60 club, soon to be 40-70 club? Well, I was at a rehearsal dinner when I got Nate's text, which I think was like 15 minutes late, by the way. You sent it and it didn't show up to my phone. It was like 15 minutes ago. And you're like, yo, he hit 40. And I'm like, well, would love to send a post out, but it probably won't make it out till like next Tuesday at this rate with the reception that I have. So,
well, it's going to be outdated with two more swipes.
Two
And
more
he's got
swipes,
70.
yeah. Still at 68. So he was able to notch number 40 this weekend. Braves tally their second consecutive 100-win season, 100-plus win season. First time since 2002 and 2003. White Sox over the Red Sox. White Sox get the rain-shortened win on Sunday, ending their streak of 12 straight series losses.
Eek.
Orioles and the Guardians split a 4-game series. Orioles' magic number is down to 3. We were talking about it before we hopped on. I was a little nervous. Heading into this past weekend about our chances of seeing an ALDS, but I think at this point, I don't want to jinx anything here, but I feel a lot better.
Feel a lot better. Yeah. I feel a lot better. And I think we'll get into stuff, but I think the Rays and Blue Jays face each other again, don't they? Or the Mariners face one of those two. I think there's two or three of those teams below the Orioles that are going to beat up on each other a little bit. I don't know what the rest of the Orioles look like, but rest of the schedule looks like. But I think they hold tiebreakers. They're looking okay. I think we're safe. So 2 games for us, Saturday and Sunday.
So if you're in town, hit us up. We'll be there. Marlins over the Brewers. Marlins are just 1 game back from the final wild card spot. Brewers' magic number for the division is 1. Pirates over the Reds. The Reds are 2.5 games back from a final wild card spot. Twins over the Angels. Which, by the way, not to skate past this, the Pirates and the Reds. Did you see the note from this weekend with the Pirates? Was it they were down 9? I think they were down 9-0.
Yeah, I did see that.
And I believe it was their largest comeback in franchise history.
Yeah.
Or back to some date. I can't remember what, but I think it may have been franchise history.
And I think, didn't Brian Reynolds chirp again? That guy has comments. A lot of comments for
was that in response to? I don't know if that was in response to this series. Wasn't that?
Was it the last one? I don't know.
Because
I'm not surprised, but Brian Reynolds just talks. No one else talks, but he does.
Yeah, because I think it was the Cubs.
Yeah.
It was the Cubs. Yeah, because apparently somebody. Oh, you're right. It was David Ross. I think David Ross indicated that the Pirates weren't a good team or something, and then I think it was from the Pirates Twitter account. I think they put out a tweet and it was like, well, if we may not be a good team, but after beating you, what does that make you, or something like that. I'm like, all right, Pirates Twitter,
chill.
All right, chill. I see you.
You
have been seen.
Did we see the last of Joey Votto in the home whites in Cincy? I'm saying gut reaction, yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
He looked pretty emotional.
Yeah, and he was talking about how he appreciated the moment and the fans, and how he said they're gonna. At this point, it's looking not great for the Reds. But he was talking about they were doing his interview on field after the game, and he was like, we're gonna fight to the very end. We got 5 games left. Just hang in there with us. So I don't know. I think you should be able to separate his thoughts about possibly retiring and his thoughts about a postseason run. But when they start getting intermingled like that, you're like, I think maybe he's starting to see the writing on the wall, and he's seeing that his journey may be coming to an end. But Votto is a character. He could very well surprise us and come back for one more year. I just think it's odd because I feel like that would be a guy. Do you think that'd be a guy that would be deserving of somewhat of a mild farewell tour around the league?
Yeah. Something mild. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer.
No, nothing like Miggy or Pujols or anything like that, certainly. But
yeah, I think and that's why I think he got what he needed. He got what he needed out of Cincy fans. He had a great year. The ball club had a great year. Even if they fall short, I think this is a good way to go out. I feel like you got to start recognizing the fact that like your team has a bright future, and you're doing everything you can just to lace them up every day, and like you're surrounded by this young talent that you almost seem like you're holding them down a little bit. No offense to him, but it does feel that way at times. So I'd like to see him come back, throw out the first pitch, watch this team maybe go on a postseason run next year.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but playing devil's advocate here a little bit, I think a guy like Joey Votto has earned the right to go out on his own terms, like when he wants to. And if that means being like overly selfish and sticking it out another year, like so be it. But I mean, I think mixed with going out on your own terms, you have to have a little bit of awareness too and be like, okay, well, ideally I would like to maybe go one more year, but maybe I don't for the betterment of the old ball club. But we'll see. We shall see. Twins over the Angels. Twins clinch the Central over the weekend. Royals sweep the Astros. The Astros are 2-7 in their last 9 games against the Royals and the A's. Cubs sweep the Rockies. Cubs currently hold the 3rd wild card spot. Currently a half game are behind, of the D-backs for the 2nd wild card spot.
I think they've played a game less, haven't they? Is that they have like the same win percentage, but they've played one less game?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. We'll get into
it'll be outdated later today, so whatever.
Yeah, we'll get into the weeds of it. Rangers sweep the Mariners. Rangers are back in sole possession of first place in the West. They're currently up 2.5 games. Tigers and the Athletics split a 4-game series. Padres over the Cardinals. Padres took an 8-game winning streak into Saturday before dropping an extra inning contest. I think that went 11.
Did you have Tatis catch yesterday?
I did. Their
Gold Glove? I mean,
whether or not he wins one this year, if he sticks around, he is more than capable of hauling that in. More than one, I think we could say.
I'm impressed.
I mean, I am, but I'm also not, because regardless how people feel about him, the guy's an athlete.
Yeah. First, I'm just impressed that like that's such a gut punch to be like you go from superstar shortstop to going to play in a position you never played before. Yeah. So it's like I'm impressed that he's been able to be like this productive.
Yeah. I saw a note over the weekend. It was mentioning the fact that the Padres are now 0-12 in extra inning games this year, and said that if they would have went 6-6 in extra inning games instead of just going over, that they would have. Somebody'd have to double check me on this, but they would have sole possession of like one of the wild card spots, and that's going 6-6 in those games. Like nothing crazy or anything. You would simply have to play 500 ball in extra inning games this year, and you'd be in the postseason. Should it have ended today? Insane. Phillies sweep the Mets in 4 games. Phillies' magic number is 1. They have won 5 straight, 8-2 in their last 10, and they are 5 games up, holding down the top spot.
Perfect for us.
Dodgers take 3 of 4 from the Giants, kind of rounding out the weekend and with Sunday Night Baseball. Giants have lost 8 of 10 to end their road trip. They were outscored 60-33. They've lost 28 of 34 road games since July 19th.
Can we say goodbye to them? Bye, Gabe Kapler.
Yep. They're now a team that many people wrote off weeks ago, the Padres. They're in the same position as the Padres right now, 5 games back in the wild card race. So, see ya. And the thing about the Padres, too, is like even with the run that they went on, they had to win 8 straight to make it to the point where they're 5 games back. So, like, it would have been wild to see them even like win out for the remainder of the season to continue that streak. But even then, I don't even know
I think
that would have been enough.
It was like creeping into that 07 Rockies.
Right. Yeah.
Where they won like 19 out of 21 or something like that.
Insane.
That kind of stretch. Yeah.
Insane. And I mean, if that's any indication on the toll it takes on your team, look at what happened in October for the Rockies.
Yeah.
Late October. So I don't know even if they would have won out, I don't know if they would have been in a good position. So that's the weekend rundown. Looking at what we know with 1 week to go in the regular season. The Braves, the Dodgers, and the Twins have all clinched their divisions. The O's, the Rays, and the Brewers have clinched. O's, Rays, and Brewers have clinched postseason berths. As it stands right now, the O's lead the Rays in the East by 2.5 games. The winner will be the number 1 AL seed, while the runner-up will take the top wild card spot. So that would then, we'll get into matchups. I got that. I got some notes here. The Rangers, as I mentioned, 2.5 games up over the Astros in the West, and they have a 3-game lead over the Mariners. Regarding the West, the remaining schedules that we have, you kind of touched on this a little bit. The Rangers have 3 games against the Angels and 4 against the Mariners. The Astros have 3 games against the Mariners and 3 games against the D-backs. And the Mariners have 3 games versus the Astros and 4 games against the Rangers.
Goodness, dude. The AL West. Buckle up.
So whoever put that schedule together, I know you had no idea that it was going to end up this way, but well done on making that work.
Here's what's crazy is that the Astros, I mean, it's nuts to say they could miss out on the postseason. They really could. Mariners are only half game back from that last spot. Astros really just...
Yeah. Okay.
Is there a worse term than choking?
Here, I don't know. First of all, they just haven't played well on the road. I think I saw something today that said that this will be their first losing record. Or no, I'm sorry, not on the road, at home. This will be their first losing season at home.
Currently 39 and 42 at home.
Yeah, since like 2000 and some odd year. I can't remember.
What is that about?
I have no idea. Usually the statistic proves it. I've always thought, at least in recent memory, of Houston as being a rather difficult place to play, not just in October, but just throughout the year. Like the fans show out. I'll give them that.
There's 17 games over 500 on the road.
Yeah, I don't know what those splits are about. But they are, well, I mean, I guess you could say that's beneficial for them because they're on the road the rest of the way out. 3 in Seattle, 3 in Arizona.
Are you a little proud of the Rangers? I'm a little proud of the Rangers.
Yeah, you know what? Like, we get on teams all the time about needing to figure it out, and a lot of times they'll just fizzle out of the conversation and then they're never to be heard from again. But I mean, good on the Rangers for righting the ship, man. Righting the ship.
5 straight. When you look at their home road splits, like those are pretty, like 500 on the road, I think is acceptable. Yeah. 19 over. I mean, that's 50 home wins. Like, that's a good year. If you're winning 50 games at home, that's what you're wanting.
And look, I think if you're a baseball fan that still has some feelings one way or another towards the Astros, I think this is kind of what you want. Like, you want the Rangers in there. You at least out of the division. I can't speak for like the rest of the league, but
Yeah.
out of that division, if you're just looking at the postseason picture, I think you're wanting the Rangers in there, and I think you're wanting the Mariners to give the Astros a run for their money here down the stretch. And again, if you still have some negative feelings towards the Astros, I mean, what better way for them to get bounced and to get some, get some, I don't want to say fresh blood in there, but like get some new faces in there. Get Texas back in there because they were part of the national conversation for the first half of the season. And I think people were on board with that, like, all right, like this is all right. We can do this. And then the Mariners,
everybody's
how do you not,
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not love the Mariners? I think there was one point in this season down, like maybe the last quarter or so of the season where I think, were you kind of out? Did you think they didn't have enough steam?
The Mariners? I don't know. I don't know if I fully committed to that.
I feel like I may have recalled. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't like, I don't think you were fully
like
committed
doubling
to any,
down on something,
any
but
such take.
You
were. I mean,
this series starts today, by the way. That Astros Mariners series starts today, so, and there's not a whole lot of ball games on today, I think. So,
well, here's the thing: you may have not committed to the Mariners being fully out of the picture, but you, along with me and a lot of other people, recognize that this is that time of year for the Astros where they turn it on. And I don't know what it is, man, but these 100-loss teams are proven to be quite the roadblock for the Houston Astros and have put them in a rather precarious situation with 1 week to go. And you just know that the Mariners are licking the chops, knowing that they're within striking distance here. Because if they would have just handled their business against the Royals and the Athletics, the Mariners not in a great spot.
And didn't I see something that the Mariners have been dominating the Astros this year? That matchup is not close.
Yeah, they're 8-2 against the Astros.
Yeah,
this year.
So it's like a little bit of a revenge tour thing going on. And I know everyone talks about like, yeah, they got swept in the postseason, but like they played each other well. That wasn't an ugly sweep.
How many innings did that one game go?
What?
Wasn't that like the scoreless game, or it was like a low scoring? Do you know what I'm talking about?
What are you talking about?
In the playoffs last year.
What about it?
Between these two teams, was it the game that got bounced? Was it the final game of the series last year?
Your Don hit a walk-off, didn't he?
No, it was in. I thought it was in Seattle. Because that would have been the DS, no?
I don't know.
It was the 18th inning. That's right. Yes, Jeremy Pena, the solo home run in the 18th.
That's how they went home?
I believe that was in
Seattle.
Seattle.
That ended this series? Oh.
Yeah, that was in Seattle. So in terms of that matchup, you got the Astros looking to right the ship against the Mariners after the way this year's gone between those two. But then kind of zooming out a little bit, looking even more big picture, you've got the Mariners wanting to right the ship for the way last season ended for them at the hands of the Astros. So this is going to be a good one. It's not
like the Astros have a breeze after this series either. You know, the Diamondbacks, I don't know their matchup on the year against each other. I don't know if they've played each other at all. But it's not like the Diamondbacks are going to lay down. You know, they're fighting for their own spot. So, I don't know, dude. What if the Astros get bounced? I would love to see it. I'm fully on board.
that's a tall ask of the Mariners, who are on the outside looking in right now in the West.
Fully
3 against the Astros. Although we just got done saying like they've held their own against the Astros more than have.
Sure have.
Then you got 4 against the Rangers, but that's at home too. So
right.
Man.
I mean, if you can take 2 out of 3 against the Astros, split with the Rangers, and just hope that the Diamondbacks take 2 out of 3 against the Astros. Bye-bye Astros.
Yeah, that would be the difference. That's all you got to do if you're the Mariners, because they're a half game back. Wow.
Got to win this series and just got to split, like minimum split against the Rangers. I don't think that's that tall of an ask. Do we know the pitching matchups?
Let's see here.
Today? Verlander Castillo? Oh, boy. Who wrote this script?
Oh, boy.
That's today.
Verlander, Castillo. Then tomorrow you've got Christian Javier versus George Kirby. And then you got Framber Valdez versus Bryce Miller. Come on.
Who wrote this script?
Come on now.
Oh, boy. Buckle up. What a week.
Must-watch baseball right there. My goodness. And in Seattle, please.
Yeah. And I'm not kidding. There's 4 games today. There should have been 3, but the D-backs Yankees got pushed. There's only 4 games today, baby. Like, if you're a baseball fan, there's nothing else to watch. Absolutely nothing else to watch. Rangers, Angels. I mean, come on. And Pods and Giants, who cares? Everybody's got to tune into this game.
I'm about it. Looking at possible AL matchups if the season ended today, or what the matchups would be if the season ended today. Right now, you would have first round buys for the Orioles and the Rangers. But as we just got done talking about, there's way too much up in the air in the West to chalk that up. But if you were curious what it looks like as of today, first round buys with the Orioles and Rangers. Wild card series number 1 would be between the 5th seeded Blue Jays and the 4th seeded Rays. It's a little AL East matchup there. And then you would have the 6th seeded Astros versus the 3rd seeded Twins, which I will never understand.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to fix that. And
I don't love it.
It's purely the central divisions in both leagues that are messing everything up. Like, there should be no reason that the Twins, like, come on,
I mean,
man.
I don't know. Then you get into the nonsense that the NBA does, where it's just straight up seeding and divisions don't even matter. I don't want that.
Yeah, but do you want the Minnesota Twins hosting the Astros? No.
I don't want the Twins anywhere near October. But here we are.
Even better. What a joke, man. And they were talking today on MLB Network. I want to say it was JP Morosi. He's like, well, I think the Minnesota Twins are being slept on a little too hard. Don't be surprised if the Twins... I'm like, shut up, dude. What is it, 18 straight losses in October now? What gives you any reason? He's like, well, the pitching is better than it's ever been. Don't count out the Twins just yet. I said, I counted out the Twins back in March.
Yeah.
JP Morosi.
Yeah.
Haven't
had a dub. Haven't had a postseason dub since, what, 04?
Yeah.
Solid.
What a joke. If there was like... The Minnesota Twins would be probably like one of 3 teams that I would just relegate out of the league. Send them to like the minors.
I agree.
If I could.
I agree. I I haven't watched a Twins game in months.
That's what I don't. I understand because it's a structure, and you just have to adhere to the structure. But
we just need to reshape the divisions. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Realign.
Yeah. But the reality is, with that note that I mentioned about the Astros, 2-7 in their last 9 against teams named either the Kansas City Royals or Oakland A's, even with that scuffle, that slide that they've had, they're still 2 games up on the Twins.
And they're barely hanging on. Yeah.
Right. They're fighting for their division lives, and the Twins are just taking a cupcake walk around Candyland, 9.5 up on the Guardians in the Central. Haven't had to play a meaningful baseball game in weeks.
The entire AL Central is just horrendous.
What a joke. All right, so looking back at our trip real quick. So if the O's host the ALDS, they would be getting the winner of the Blue Jays Rays, correct?
Say that one more time.
For the ALDS.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming the O's get that.
Yeah.
They would get the winner of the Jays Rays series, correct? Or no, they would get yeah.
Yeah, because you're guaranteed to play a wild card team, whereas the other one, like you could be playing the other division winner. So I don't think that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so they would get, ooh, I'm about that. Give me the Rays or the Jays.
Yeah, the AL East matchups are lining up nicely for the postseason.
The National League. Let's shift gears here. The National League. If the postseason started today, you're looking at first round buys for the Braves and the Dodgers. And the wild card series, if they started today, would be the D-backs, the 5th seeded D-backs versus the 4th seeded Phillies. Phillies would be hosting that. And hosting us. And hosting us, should it make it to a game 3. Which, I like our odds. With the feisty D-back squad, I do too. I feel good about that.
Yeah, because we needed, for those unaware, I'm getting in on Wednesday, but it's too late. So we need a game 3 for the wild card series for the Phillies. So we need, in this position, the Diamondbacks to at least take one of those games, which I feel better about, oddly enough, than as much as I'd love to see the Cubs.
Yeah.
I think I feel better about the Diamondbacks getting a dub.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We're in the same place there. And then the other wild card matchup would be the 6th-seeded Cubs versus the 3rd-seeded division-winning Brewers.
Marlins and Reds knocking on the door still. Still in the hunt. What do the Marlins have left?
Sorry, I got ahead of myself. I said division-winning Brewers. They haven't technically.
One magic number is 1, right?
Yeah.
I think with a loss or a win from the Cubs, or their win or Cubs loss, they're in. So I think that's all but locked up. Marlins got the Mets.
Yeah, what do we have for our remaining schedule here? What do you got going on over there, man?
Oh, just that roof work that no one wants to fill anybody in about. They just show up in the middle of the day and start hammering on the roof, That'd
be a little outrageous to just be going about your day and then you hear people on your roof.
Yeah, I'd like to yell. I sure would. Marlins have the Mets and the Pirates, and they're 1 game out.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
D-backs have... Oh, yeah. They got today's against the Yankees, and they got 3 against, as we mentioned, the Astros, and 3 against the White Sox.
Who the Cubbies have? That's who I'm a little nervous for, I think.
Cubs
Cubbies
have
have
3.
Braves.
And the Brewers.
Oh, no. I think the Cubs are in trouble.
Say what you will about the Brewers, but I'd much rather be playing the freaking Mets than the Brewers.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, that's tough. Who else? Are we missing anybody else there?
The Reds. The Reds have going on.
Reds are all but out of it. Reds got the Cardinals, 3 against the Cardinals and 2 against the Guardians.
Yeah, they went out. I mean,
this is interesting. The Marlins, not that it really matters for the Phillies' sake, but the Marlins and the Phillies are swapping opponents because the Phillies also have 3 against the Mets and 3 against the Pirates, so they're just flip flopping.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, that's a tough break if you're the Cubs.
Yeah, it's not how you want your season to end schedule-wise, but shipping up for good baseball at least. I mean, vibes were high in Miami this weekend. I don't know if you caught any of those highlights, but
hey, it's looking like I might be the one eating crow. Well, I mean, I wasn't like poo-pooing on the Marlins, but I remember when I was like, it's a little bold to be coming up with what, like,
yeah,
a wild card push line
T-shirt
of
thing.
merch. Yeah, or I guess it was just a T-shirt, but I'm like, I can get behind it. I'm all for it. Like, get the vibes up there, but I'm like, that could come back to bite you. But they're playing well, and they are right there in the thick of it. And what did we say? What did they have left?
Should probably mention how Contra is likely not a part of this ride at all, right?
Yeah, he tried to come back and give it another go, but he's been shut down.
That sucks.
Which, like, yeah, it does, but you're not.
They're only here because of him, though. They're not in this position without what he's been doing. Like, he's been a horse for 3 years.
Sure. But are you saying, like, big picture? Are you saying, like,
big
specifically
picture
this year?
Yeah, big picture overall. Like, they're not in this position of like anything. They're not in this position of moving Pablo Lopez. You know what I mean? Like, they're not making moves like that without what he's been doing the last few years. I think it was how many? He's over 600 innings the last 3 years, right? That's nuts.
Sounds right.
That's big dog stuff. That's true. That's true ace horse type stuff.
Yeah, 205 and 2/3 in 21, 228 and 2/3 in 22, which would put him at 434 and a third, I believe.
Goodness.
And then 184 and 2/3 this year to round out his 2023 campaign.
That's horse stuff, dude.
Yes, big picture, they wouldn't be in this position as a franchise without his contribution on the bump as a horse the last few years. But specifically this year, you're not like, yeah, this is a tough blow, but you're not missing a whole lot from him.
Yeah,
with the way this year's gone.
Yeah,
like it's
I don't know.
Like I said,
I mean, you've seen guys like this that can absolutely like just wipe away what they did during the regular season with a good postseason start or two.
And I'm certainly not implying that they're somehow better off without Sandy, but like it could have come at a worse time. Like this kind of news could have, if they were in this position last year, that's backbreaking for sure. Yeah. But like this year, you've had some other guys step up. Like Luzardo has been throwing really well, and some others. But either way, even with or without him, I just don't know if you have the pitching.
I'm not interested in seeing them in it, just because I don't think they're going to do anything with the opportunity. You could argue the same for the Cubs, though. The Diamondbacks are one of those teams where it's like they could be spoiler. They could be last year's Phillies. Like, I think they're good enough to get on a special kind of run.
Yep, I agree.
They're equipped. I like the Cubs, but they're not. I like the Marlins, but they're not.
Yeah, but then who rounds out that wild card trio? Because
I don't know,
the
but I mean,
D-backs and
it doesn't matter because whoever's in that last spot's going to get absolutely stomped on, right? I mean,
by the
Brewers aren't great, but they're good enough to.
But see, that's the question. That's the question: are either of those teams capable of just somehow scraping by against the Brewers? Like that's.
I mean, I think the Cubs have a better shot just being in the division. I don't know what their
Sure.
matchups on the year have been like.
I don't know if I have those.
Let me see if I can find it.
But yeah, I mean, you would have. I mean, that's got to be a best case scenario if you're one of these three, or I guess technically, well, yeah, three, like Cubs, Marlins, Reds. Although, again, I think the Reds are a little bit out of it.
They're 5-5.
Or even the D-backs if they're in that
5-5 against each other.
They drop.
Cubs, Brewers.
That's got to be best case if you're any one of these teams. D-backs, Cubs, Marlins, whoever ends up with that third spot. And you're telling me all I got to do is beat out the Brewers in the best of three? Please. Yes. I'll take that.
It's doable. Definitely doable.
10 times out of 10. But I did see, which I don't even know how this is mathematically possible. Looking at the Braves and Dodgers, I saw, did I read this right? That there's the number one seed is still up in the air for the NL?
Mm-hmm. I think you did.
That's what, 3.5 games? So the Braves would have to
Lose out, basically.
ultimately lose out.
Yeah. Which, I mean, they went on a skid earlier. Only 4-6 in their last 10.
And who did we say the Braves have left? Braves have 3 against the Cubs, 3 against the Nats. Yeah, I think they're okay there.
Dodgers have Rockies, Giants.
Who's this now?
Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Never know.
Yeah, that's no. We can safely say the Braves have that locked up. Any other talking points we have here that we haven't touched on already? We've looked at the West. We've looked at the NL wild card. Everything else is pretty much, for the most part. I mean, we're unfortunately at that point of the year where things haven't been solidified.
Yeah.
Simply because the math still exists. But like the reality is that a lot more of these things are coming into a clear picture.
Right.
And are pretty much all but locked up, but we got to wait it out another day or two before more pieces start falling into place. But big picture here, you're still looking at the West for the American League. You're still looking at the National League wild card. And like I said, for us, we're just hoping. At this point, Philly's got that spot locked up, essentially. And if you're gonna be in town for a possible Game 3 in Philly, hit us up. If you're gonna be in town for a possible Game 1 or Game 2 in Baltimore for the DS, hit us up. We will be there. I think that
I was looking at the article that we were kind of reading through a little bit, just with like names. that could be holding down some either records or taking away certain titles. Looks like Corey Seager probably taking the AL batting title. Got a 5-point average lead over Yandy Diaz. Gausman and Pablo Lopez really coming down the stretch for the strikeout title in the AL. Freddie Freeman is looking like he's knocking on the door for 60 doubles this year. What? That's stupid.
Dodger legend Freddie Freeman.
Dodger legend, yeah. Bobby Witt, I think, is right there for a 30-50. Friend of the pod, Bobby Witt. He's got 29 jacks, 48 stolen bases.
Mookie Betts single season leadoff home run record. I put out a post. I don't know if you saw that. I did, every time. The season is long, okay? So on the occasional post that I try to stir the pot a little bit,
oh boy.
Just don't even trip. Don't even just understand that I feel like I've earned the right to just stir the pot from time to time. I try not to wear it out. But every now and then I like stirring the pot a little bit. But I put out that post over the weekend. I think it was Saturday night when it was RBI related. Yeah, okay. Mookie Betts now has the most RBIs in a single season by a major league leadoff hitter with 105. And then the people just went after it because my caption I simply said Mookie Betts is having an MVP caliber season.
Caliber, I think, is the key word there.
Caliber.
Yeah.
And that's factually correct.
I
because
agree.
You put his season up.
He'll be top 3 in votes.
He'll be top 3 in votes. You put his season up against previous MVP winners. He's right. It's not like this year's an anomaly. Like this season plays across the board year after year.
Yeah.
And that's all I said. I said he is having an MVP caliber season. And the people, just take a wild guess at which platform the people just went off on.
Facebook.
Yeah, a rather tame platform.
Yeah.
Somebody said he's having a great season. Every now and then, if I have to explain myself on a post on Facebook, I'll just put I'll comment, not to anybody in particular, but I'll just put a comment, and it usually sits at the top since it's coming from the original poster. And I said, some of you don't understand the difference between MVP and MVP caliber, and it shows. And one guy responded, he's having a great season, but you posted this to stir the pot. Pretty simple. And then I just posted a GIF of Michael Scott giving the old thumbs up. Because I'm there's no need to freak out, but also you can't hate on the season that Mookie Betts is having.
Yeah, it's okay to acknowledge. The heck, man. I will say, I mean, overall, I think it's pretty cool to see, like, last year Judge getting the home run feat and then Acuña doing something this year that, like, we've never seen before. I mean, athletically, you can argue this is one of the best years of all time.
Are we talking Acuña here?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel? Because I've kind of come to my own conclusion on this season for him. I think if you're looking at the season that Ronald Acuña Jr. is having, you can acknowledge that, yes, he's having an insane season, one unlike we've seen before. Assuming he gets to 40-70, literally has never been done before. But you can also embrace fans. I believe in you. I know you're capable of doing this. Sometimes your comments make me question it, but I know you're intelligent. You can look at the year he's having and go, wow, this is unlike anything we've seen before. But it's also coming on the heels of a pretty drastic rule change or series of rule changes that are we just going to say is a coincidence that it lined up that way? It's okay to recognize, like, yeah, he's having a great year. He deserves the MVP because, and as a Braves fan, if you're saying, in my opinion, nobody's even close, not even Mookie, that's fine. But like, let's not pretend like all of a sudden that this season just comes up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And it's like, wow, that's incredible. Like, no, it very conveniently came on the heels of some pretty
like you can't say
impactful rule changes.
You can't just say it's something we've never seen before without dropping the nugget that we've never seen these rules before. They go hand in hand. There's a reason why we're gonna have multiple 50 stolen base guys.
Correct. I saw somebody comment the other day. They're like, I'm like, I don't know where these people's heads are at. He was like, that doesn't, in response to like the whole rule change argument, they're like, that doesn't even make sense. It's not like making the bases bigger shortens the distance between bags. And I'm like,
that's exactly what it means.
my friend, that's exactly what it does. These are the people that you have to entertain when you're having these debates on social media.
Bigger bases, pitch clock, limited pickoff moves. That all comes into play. All comes into play. But either way, it's incredibly impressive. I think when it comes to like seeing a 5-tool player do 5-tool things, and that's what I'm most excited about. I think that's what Braves fans are excited about, is that we've seen 5-tool guys before, but you don't see 5-tool results, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're getting it again. It's super refreshing. Super refreshing.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Acuña. I think what he's doing this year, as I said, extremely special. But I can also be a realist here and recognize like the timing of it all. I can realize the implications of what was done to the game prior to the start of this year, and you can put 2 and 2 together and say, well, I don't think this is a coincidence. But again, special year. Is there anything else we need to cover? We're a week out from this thing being wrapped up.
Season ends Sunday.
So looking ahead, I'm going to be out of town starting Thursday. Well, technically Wednesday. We fly out for a wedding Wednesday night. So the next you'll hear from us, hopefully I won't have to record from inside a rental car again. Hopefully next time you hear from us will be Thursday, normal time. And then for the rest of the way out, it's going to be, we're trying to figure this out. The wild card series would start on Tuesday, which means we should hopefully be able to get to you guys Monday. Got some things going on Monday. We're actually flying back in Monday. So all I have to say, hopefully you'll hear from us Thursday, normal time Monday, and then you get in on Wednesday night. And based on how the wild card matchups go or shake out, we would either be getting to you guys Thursday or possibly Friday if we have to make a trip to Philly. Or elsewhere, who knows? Maybe we'll call an audible. I don't even know what that would look like, but a lot's still up in the air for us as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm curious to see. We need D-backs to hopefully hold this spot. Hopefully take one game out of that. What sucks is that we're not going to know. I'm still going to be in the air. I'm going to be the air, and I'm going to land and find out if I get to go to a Phillies game or not, which is super. But I mean, we've done this before. This happens all the time. Happens every year. We find ourselves in this situation. Seems like every time we travel, it's like something is up in the air. It isn't. I've been doing this with the Yankees, since like 2017. Show up at the hoping that there's a game or not. It's just the way it is, baby. The way it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we could pivot into, but
we'll figure something out. We'll bring the content. If you're listening, don't worry. We'll bring you something, whether it's Philly, Baltimore, Atlanta, who knows.
Buckle up, though. Oh, boy. Buckle up.
1 week to go. We will see you guys, unless you got anything else, we will see you guys, what did I say, Thursday?
Sure.
I'll be somewhere in Texas, but you'll be hearing from us.
Ooh. Let's go. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love y'all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.